Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Norbert Bakro, your global family nutritionist. Today, I want to talk to you about why some foods are normally advised, or why we are always advised to take some food over others. It is done because some foods have added advantages and maximum impact and benefit to the human body when consumed over others. So that's why we normally recommend certain foods over others, or else food is food and the body needs food, except the challenges and the problems that some food uh, pose to us or bring to us when we consume them. So we normally advise you to take the food that will give you maximum impact, that will give you maximum benefit, and that will give you added advantage when consumed. For example, when we talk about the sugar, the brown sugar, the honey, as well as the white sugar, when the body receives sugar, the body treats it as sugar. But the added advantage that the brown sugar and the honey has is that the brown sugar has some micronutrients that are beneficial to the body because they are not fully refined. The honey also has some micronutrients that are also beneficial to the body compared to the white sugar, which is totally refined. For example, the honey has selenium, about 25 to 31% of selenium, which is very good for you. But the white sugar, for example, has not got any other added nutrient to it. And so when it goes into the body only uses it as sugar, which is converted into energy for the body to use. But the body has not got any other nutrient from it to make good use of. But the brown sugar that is partly processed, the honey that is not processed, has added advantage nutrient that the body needs to be able to make maximum use of. Remember, when you take in these carbohydrate or energy foods, the body needs the vitamins and the minerals to be able to support the absorption of these carbohydrate into the system. And without them, the body will not be able to make maximum use of them and will convert them into fat and store them in your adipose tissues. And also, the body needs carbohydrate, and the body doesn't care wherever the carbohydrate is coming from, like the rice we have been talking about, whether polished rice, unpolished rice, brown rice, black rice, or whatever. When it goes into the system, the body treats it as energy because the body needs energy, which is converted as glucose for the cells to be able to utilize. And the body doesn't care wherever this glucose is coming from. And so, whether it's coming from brown rice, black rice, or it's coming from uh, uh, polished rice, the body needs that to convert it into glucose for the cells to use to metabolize or to perform their activities. So, the other advantage that comes with the brown rice, the black rice, is that they had thiamine, which is very good for your body, and also has fiber and other micronutrients that are beneficial to you. So, aside the body utilizing the energy from the brown rice or the black rice, the body also has other nutrients that are added to it, which is beneficial to the body. Unlike the polished rice, none of those nutrients or other advantages are there. It's only energy that is made available to the body and nothing more. And the more you take it, the more you increase your weight because the body is not able to utilize all, particularly if you are not physically active. So the rest will be stored as fat and making you increase in weight. And so you need to be able to do so. So that the same thing compared to the organic and inorganic food that we have been preaching about. The organic food has added advantages over the inorganic food. Remember, whatever food you grow or animal you rear, whatever you use in feeding them, that is the form that particular food will take. And those nutrients you are feeding the crop or the animal with will form part of the food and thereby making it uh, 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 getting into your system when you consume them. So when you particularly grow corn and you use fertilizer instead of animal manure to nourish your corn to grow. There are nutrients that are in the fertilizer which will get into the corn. And when it gets into your system, it has negative consequences. Particularly when they build up to a certain point, it goes to affect the functionability of the other nutrients that are already in the body or that you are getting from other food. And so that's why you need to know the source of food that you are consuming, which should be coming from the organic source. And also the animals, for example. These days we treat our animals with antibiotics, and the more you consume the food, the meat that are treated, or the animal meat that are treated with antibiotics, the more you have antibiotic built up in your system. And the more the antibiotic built up in your system, it will get to a point that when you even force it and go to the hospital and they give you treatment, your body will not respond to it because of that. And so that's why the doctors will keep on changing your medication to be able to fit into whatever nutrient that you have built up, or antibodies, or whatever you have built up in your body. So whatever you use your to in feeding your crops or your animal, it will form part of your food. And so you need to be very careful so that you'll be able to be sure where exactly it's coming from. And crops that are grown, for example, in lands that are having a lot of flora, a lot of mercury, and other metallic component or nutrients, they form part of the food. That is why cassava, sweet potato, yam that are grown in uh, a place or lands that has a lot of mercury, which is one of the heavy metals. It forms part of the yam, it forms part of the sweet potato, the cassava. And so when you consume them, you have this mercury building up in your system because the body cannot utilize it. And that will affect you as an individual. So that's why it's very advisable you'll be able to check where your food is coming from to be sure. When food are grown, crops are grown in flora area or a land that has a lot of flora, or water, a borehole is drained in such area, there's a lot of flora that forms part of the water. And the more you consume them regularly, it affects you as an individual and affect your system. And the crops also, this flora also forms part of the crop. And so when you constantly consume food from such sources or such places grown in such areas, it affects your nutrition or your body composition as well. That's why it's very necessary to check. The same thing compared to salt. We have sea salt and we have the whatever the iodidated salt. All these salts, for example, they are good, but the body treat them as sodium when it gets into the system. But the added advantages that it comes with, the other micronutrient that accompanies it, is what is beneficial. So that's why we are able to help you choose and choose wisely when it comes to some of these things. And crops that are also grown in sodium rich areas, they form part of the food as well, or animals that are fed with sodium rich foods. Some people sprinkle salt over the animal's food just to enable them taste well for the animal to consume. And the more this sodium will build up in the system of the animal, and that affects the growth, or that affect the composition of the animal. And so when you consume them, you have a lot of sodium in your system. So that's why we normally preach some of these things so that you'll be able to know very well where to be able to choose. So be intentional about your nutrition. Don't leave your nutrition to chance. Be sure of what you are consuming. Know the source of your food and be concerned about whatever goes into your system, because whatever that goes in will bring some consequences after after all. And we need to also know that research is evolving. Some things that are prescribed or that are recommended today may not be recommended tomorrow, because research will come out with certain findings that this food is causing this part of this kind of condition in the life of people. And so you have to switch it to another. The same, just like the bread. Wheat were not genetically modified, but now it's genetically modified. That's why we preach that you don't take the wheat or the wheat product or the bread. And even if you cannot stop it, you have to be able to see how best you reduce it to be able to help you not accumulate some of these bad composition in your system. Some people, when they are addicted to certain food, it's very difficult for them to stop taking it. And so it's very, very necessary. Just like how we advise, when you are able to adapt to 2 meals a day, try to always find time to rest, and also try to be able to drink a lot of water, at least uh, 1.5 to 2 liters of water a day, and it will help you. Thank you. Subscribe, share with others, and follow me on my social media handle. You can comment and ask questions. God bless you.